Och med det så välkomnar vi Freja upp på 10 minuter.
Hello, I'm Freja and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Freja.
It's great to be here today. Just a little bit nervous because there's so many of you. But I'm going to try to tell you how it was for me, what I did, and how it is now. And start with the drinking. That was great. I loved it. For years, I loved drinking. Like we've heard a little bit about, I just felt at home. I felt like I was me when I got drunk. So I found out that it would be a good idea to get drunk a lot. Because I just had to feel great. And why only do that once a week or twice a week? But it wasn't such a big problem because young people in Denmark, they drink a lot. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then there's football Sunday, so it ends up being quite a lot. So it wasn't really a problem. And the best thing was that I felt good drinking. And bad not. Always had this feeling inside of not belonging, not being okay. My parents weren't right, I weren't in the right school, my friends didn't like me enough, so everything was kind of wrong. But when I had alcohol in me, it was like this, I was okay. And that's all I ever wanted to be, that was just okay. So it was a miracle to drink for me. And I did it as often as I could. I studied and I worked for a long time. And it actually worked out fine for years. But there's a reason I stand here today. And that is that at some point, I have no idea where, but at some point this alcohol just stopped working for me. I don't know when I crossed that point of it being great and it being not as good as I wanted it to be, but at some point it didn't work for me anymore. But I kept on doing it. I was 22 and I went to a bar like 6 or 7 times a week. And I had no idea that that was weird or that you shouldn't do that. It didn't really matter that there was only like a 17-year-old guys down there, because I felt at home. They were like me, and they wanted to drink as often as I did. So that was, I think it was my first home because it was the first place where I felt at home, in the bar. And this continued for a couple of years, I think. But I still enjoyed it, at least in the way that I didn't know what else to do. Because what did people do when they didn't drink? I went to work like 5 in the morning, and then I was off around 12, I think. And I didn't understand. What did young people like me do if they didn't go to the bar? They could watch some television, be with some friends. I didn't have any, so that was not really possible. But it was a mystery. And that was one of the things I was so afraid of. When I stopped drinking, it was like, I'm not going to do anything. There's nothing left if I stop drinking now. I was 22 when I stopped, and I thought that life was over. There would be nothing left to do for me. But it got worse and worse in the end, and somehow, and I can only say I believe it's my high power, he sent me the one thing that would help me stop drinking, and that was a guy. Because if there's one thing I have a problem with, other than the alcohol, it's guys. So he sent me a sober drug addict who was in another fellowship. And I thought, well, he didn't really want me because a sober drug addict and an alcoholic who doesn't know she's an alcoholic, not a good mix. So he said that he didn't want anything to do with me because he couldn't take it. I was drunk every time we were together because otherwise we couldn't be together because I couldn't be with anyone if I went drunk. So I said, okay, I can try this other fellowship he went to, and maybe I have a problem and I can just stop drinking. And I found that, great, I can stop drinking. I stopped like 20 times in 30 days. The problem was that I didn't know how to not start again. Like every other day, I had 1 day sober, 2 days sober, and somehow I would end up in the bar with a drink in my hand. And I have no idea why, because I didn't want to. And that's, I have learned now, that's the disease. I have no choice because I have this disease, alcoholism, and I don't decide whether to drink or not. But this went on for, I think, 30 days until I was committed to mental hospital, I think it's called, yeah. And they helped me get the first 10 days sober. And then I continued in this fellowship because of the guy, of course. And they told me you should get a sponsor. I heard that a couple of times. And, okay. And you should go to meetings. Okay, I went to one every week. That should be enough. And maybe do some service. And I was like, no, I'm feeling really bad. And maybe you should do this. And I'm not really up to it. I have a very hard life. And that's not for me. I'm sad to say that this went on for more than 2 years. I ended up doing everything I think you shouldn't when you come to a fellowship. I got a boyfriend in there, the guy I went there for. Great idea. So in that way I got my new higher power, and that was him. I didn't do the steps. I didn't get any friends. I didn't call anyone. I just sat down and waited for the sobriety to come and for happiness to come. I didn't do anything. Again, luckily, I think, I can see that now. My boyfriend back then, he got a new girlfriend in the same fellowship. So, feeling a bit of resentment. And I had this great idea, I don't know if you know it, that maybe a drink will fix this. And I was almost 2.5 years sober, but I hadn't given up the thought of drinking again. So I still had this little thing in the back of my head saying that, well, if you don't have anything else, you'll always be able to drink. And I didn't have anything else. I didn't have any friends because I hadn't done anything to get any. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have a program. I didn't have a God. Well, he went off with another girl, so not much to do. But somehow, a guy I'd been to some meetings with, he called me up and said, hey, what about, I'm going to AA meetings, and do you want to come? And I had almost made the decision of going drinking again, because I didn't know what else to do. I had no other solution. That was my one and only solution, and I've been it for years. So I said, okay, I can always say no, call him up and say no, not tonight. So I said yes. And I actually went. And within the first 5 minutes, a girl had introduced herself and asked if she should take me through the steps. And like Jonas said, I was like, well, yeah, okay. Because I didn't know what else to do. I was on my way drinking. And luckily, I still had some memories of what that was like, and I don't know how it was like for you, but for me, in the end, it was hell on earth. I didn't want to live back then, and I really didn't want to go back to that place, but I saw no other solution until she said those things to me. And in the meeting, that was the first time I'd heard people talking about being sober, and young people talking about being sober, having a life, having boyfriends, girlfriends, children, friends, going out, dancing sober. They sounded like they had fun. And I'm so grateful today that so many happy people sat in that meeting sober and told me about it, because I thought, again, these the end station. Nothing left. But I got a sponsor, and she gave me the same suggestions that Jonas just told about. Weird suggestion, and I didn't really understand how they would keep me sober, because why would calling somebody else, when I was feeling so bad, why should calling somebody else help me? And that was what was all about me and how I would feel better. It was not about you. I didn't really care about you. I just wanted to be okay inside. But pretty quick, I found out that talking to a newcomer, somebody who was newer than me, and trying to help them, it made me forget about myself and how bad I was feeling and how good I was feeling. Just made me get out of my head. Somebody calls it get your head out of your ass. That made sense to me because I really needed to do that. And I think we did the third step within a month, probably. And I've been sober for 2.5 years there, almost. Never really been that happy. I thought I was happy, but until the third step, I hadn't known happiness, I would say today. Because that was one of the first time when there wasn't talking in my head all the time. I was calm in my stomach, in my heart. I could sit in the meeting and listen to what you guys said and not thinking about me, how am I feeling all the time? Because I did that all the time. And that third step, it just being able to give your will to something else. Just give it away, because I've shown for years that I can't control my life. I am so powerless and there's nothing I can do. So why should I hold on to this when I fuck it up so much? So it was such a gift for me, and I heard it's really hard for some, but I was willing to do everything. Anything my sponsor told me, I just wanted to do it because I knew that my only other solution was alcohol, and I knew where that would end. So I was ready to do anything. Yeah, I was still thinking about myself. I can feel. Yeah, but I did all the things that you're probably not supposed to in a fellowship, like getting a boyfriend at first time, and then I got a sponsor who told me when I got to AA, wait, date, don't date yet, wait till the 9th step. And I met a guy, and I was in my 4th step, and he was really cute, so I started dating. Again, great idea in my home group. You should do that if you want to maybe go out drinking again. Luckily, I didn't. I still had a sponsor. I was in the steps. I did my daily suggestions, and we broke up, of course, because I was still thinking about me. And it was really important. I found out then that I didn't focus on a guy. I had to focus on doing this, because this was the most important thing in my life. That was all I had to think about, because this is going to follow me for the rest of my life. I hope I don't get any great ideas at some point. I'll never know, but this has set me free. And I'm happy, joyous, and free today because of this. And very often at night, I still remember what it was like back then, and I get really sad at night sometimes, because I know what could have been. I'm not sad because I want to go there. No. I'm sad thinking about where I could have ended and where I'm sure a lot of alcoholics end. And that's why it's so amazing to be able to do this, even though I really don't want to, because I'm shy and I'm self-centered, but so many people has done this for me. They were there speaking at meetings when I was new. They came up to me and asked me how I was, asked for my number, called me, and that has meant the world, because that's one of the reasons I'm sober today. So thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you.